Once upon a time, on a golden afternoon, a young girl named Alice sat by a riverbank, feeling quite bored. The sun was warm, the breeze was soft, and nothing very interesting seemed to be happening, until, quite suddenly, a white rabbit in a waistcoat came rushing by, mumbling, oh dear, I shall be too late." Now, this was no ordinary rabbit. He had a pocket watch, for goodness sake, and without thinking twice, Alice jumped up and followed him, right down a rabbit hole. Down, down, down. She tumbled, past cupboards and clocks and shelves full of odd things, until she landed, quite gently, on a little floor far below. There she found a curious room with a tiny locked door and a glass table with a shiny little key. But oh dear, the door was too small for her, and the key was too high. Then she spotted a bottle labelled "Drink Me." So she did, and shrank. But now the key was still up on the table and she was too small to reach it. She found a cake labelled "Eat Me," and after just one bite, she grew so enormous that her head bumped the ceiling. Overcome with frustration, she burst into tears, and when the white rabbit reappeared, he panicked and dropped his fan and gloves. Alice picked up the fan to cool herself off, and to her surprise, she began to shrink again, until she was so tiny she was swept away in a pool of her own tears. There, she met a swimming parade of animals, including a very proper duck and a puffed-up dodo, who all decided the best way to dry off was to run in circles in a caucus race. It was the silliest kind of race, with no winner at all. Later, the white rabbit mistook Alice for his housemaid and sent her to fetch his gloves. Inside his crooked little house, she found another bottle, and of course, she drank it. She grew and grew until she filled the whole house. Outside, the rabbit and his neighbours tossed pebbles through the windows, which magically turned into cakes. Alice nibbled one and, pop! She shrank small enough to escape into the wild woods. In the forest, she met a blue caterpillar sitting on a mushroom, blowing smoky letters from a hookah. He asked, "Who are you?" And Alice wasn't quite sure anymore. Before he slithered away, the caterpillar told her that one side of the mushroom would make her grow, and the other would make her shrink. After some experimenting, and quite a bit of neck stretching, Alice found herself at the home of a grumpy duchess who had a baby that, oh my, turned into a pig. And then came a grinning, floating Cheshire cat who gave her directions with a disappearing smile. Next stop, a tea party with the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and a very sleepy dormouse. They argued about riddles and time, and declared it was always tea o'clock. Eventually, Alice had enough nonsense and wandered away. She found a door in a tree and stepped through, back to the little room, and finally, into the garden beyond. But it wasn't just any garden. It was the Queen of Hearts croquet lawn. Flamingos were used as mallets, hedgehogs as balls, and the card soldiers stood bent as hoops. The Queen was quick to shout, "Off with their heads!" At just about anyone who upset her. The floating head of the Cheshire Cat appeared again, and when the Queen tried to have him beheaded, the executioner didn't know how to chop off just a head. It all got quite ridiculous. Later, Alice met a griffin and a tearful mock turtle who danced the lobster quadrille and sang about beautiful soup. But before long, they whisked her away to a trial where the Knave of Hearts stood accused of stealing the Queen's tarts. The courtroom was filled with strange witnesses, teapots, lizards, even the animals Alice had met before. As the trial grew more absurd, Alice began to grow too, taller and taller, until she couldn't stay quiet any longer. "This is all nonsense," she declared. And just then, the Queen shrieked, "Off with her head!" The cards flew at her in a flurry, and just like that, Alice opened her eyes. She was back on the riverbank, her sister gently brushing leaves from her face. It had all been a dream, but what a very curious, wonderfully impossible dream it had been.